video, there was some debris on it, and I didn't know if that was on the inside of the vehicle, the outside, and I was trying to see if I could get a better look inside the window. And when I tried to swipe it, I couldn't see anything. That's why I worked my way around to that back corner window where I could finally see good enough to confirm that she was inside the vehicle.
Yeah.
I didn't see her entire body.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw enough to confirm that it was in fact human remains.
Mm-hmm.
And it was more of the legs and the feet area.
Mm-hmm.
And once I basically saw that and that there was actual skin, then I confirmed. Now, the position of her, I can tell you this, was there must have been some bloating starting because her feet were down and I couldn't see the rest of her because it was dark. The vehicle was upside down and she would have been up against the top of the vehicle, which would actually been the bottom of the vehicle because it was upside down.
So she would have been, her upper torso would be towards the floor of the cargo area and her feet were down by the roof.
Correct. Time period that a person would be underwater before the gases or whatever in their system would create them to bloat and become buoyant?
That's a good question, Nick. And you know, when a person drowns and when a body is dumped in the water and it's cold, they sink. When the water is warm, like in New York in the springtime, we suddenly begin to find bodies in the rivers because the bacteria that have been dormant in the cold, when they are warmed up, they begin their bacterial decomposition actions, which produces gases and bloating. And as soon as you said that she was floating with her back up this way and, you know, limbs hanging down, that made sense to me that she has undergone a good deal of decomposition. The body would float even if she was in the driver's seat. The gases in the abdomen are going to make that body try to float to the surface. It can't because the car is there.
Sure.
So now she's going to be in the upside down car with limbs hanging. So the decomposition would be fairly advanced after 2 weeks in warm water.
Okay. And
yeah.
75-degree water would be considered somewhat warm?
That's warm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
assuming
warm.
that they'll have vehicle experts that will be able to go into I think this was if I remember right, it was a 2013 vehicle.
Yes.
I would assume that's still modern enough that it has computers and stuff to where they can maybe get some information to be able to tell pretty precisely as to when that vehicle entered the water.
Well, there is a data system in it. There's just a hard drive. We call it AKA the black box. Okay, and it has the accident avoidance system, and it'll have information about speed, and it'll have information about erratic driving, seatbelts.
We did receive some information of the recovery of the vehicle that we've been searching for, and it was located inside the Prosser Lake. It was located within a search zone that we have been searching since the very beginning of our operation. We were very fortunate that we had the assistance of a volunteer group, the Adventures with Purpose.
This was an accident or foul play?
That's still being investigated. If we'd like, we could turn it over for CHP can give some information. They are conducting the accident investigation utilizing their mate team.
Good morning, Josh Ellers, Assistant Chief with CHP Valley Division based in Sacramento, which Truckey's a part of. I can confirm that our department is conducting a fatality traffic collision investigation. We're harnessing all of our resources, working with all of our partners here. As you see, we're utilizing our MATE team, our multidisciplinary accident investigation team, to harness more data from the vehicle that was recovered. Also, we've utilized all of our air resources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing, so I can't comment on the nature of details.
So once the car was located, dive teams were assembled. I believe Placer County was probably still the primary dive team. They have to use lots of devices to lift the car, turn it over, and then the use of tow trucks was what made it possible for pulling the vehicle out of the water. and the vehicle is taken down. The FBI has offered up assistance and are going to be helping to conduct investigation regarding the vehicle itself, and making sure that we don't miss something that may be in there that we're not aware of.
Working hand in hand in unified command, joint command with the Placer County Sheriff's Office. Folks from California Highway Patrol, the Truckee Police Department, and our friends from the Federal Bureau of Investigations. It's still an active investigation, and I understand there will be, and we will continue to receive lots of questions regarding our investigation, and we will release what we can. But at this time, our commitment is to this family, and that is where we will consistently reach for making decisions on what we release.
So the car was found in the area where you've been searching since the beginning. What did the AWP have that maybe you guys didn't have, or why was that missed in the initial search?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That's one that everybody's going to have, right? Is how did we not find it when we were searching? The lake was extensively searched with side sonar, with an ROV. We had divers, we had swimmers. I think that's part of what we're going to have to go back to do and debrief.
The car was 14 feet deep. Did y'all go that far to look for the car?
Yeah, some of that information is sometimes deceiving. So yeah, the car was reported at 14 or 15 feet. However, the water level since the 6th has also dropped a vertical 3.5 to 4 feet, which could be 20 to 25 feet off of shore. So a lot of things have changed in those aspects. Until we really can look into all that information and sort through it, it's difficult to say whether those factors had a play in it or not. I think it's still more important for us to
clarify as far as what teams had been in that area before Adventures with Purpose, if any, on that specific, on Prosser.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost so many that it would be hard to link out between the different teams. There were numerous boats, Yuba County, Alameda, Nevada County, Placer County, swimmers came from Washoe County. We had divers from every single one of those agencies and then some. I mean, it was a vast amount of people. And I would just say, unless you've conducted these types of searches and tried to do it, it does take a level of expertise. And
Can I ask, have you been able to determine a cause of death, and will there be a toxicology report conducted?
Yeah.
The question was, have we determined cause of death, and will there be a toxicology inquest? Yes. Autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. Toxicology results generally take 4 to 6 weeks for a return on those, and at that time we will provide that back over to Nevada County.
The only thing I can say is that they have not found a connection yet to it. Obviously, it's being taken into...
We did receive a video evidence showing Kiely at the party wearing the white sweatshirt you see to my left. To clear up any confusion, that same day, Kiely was loaned that black sweatshirt you see above the first sweatshirt.
The ping for the data points and everything were near the water. It's hard to tell an exact pinpoint or anything like that, but just as much on land as it was in water.
That's what I was told, is that it was near the water and searches took place near that vicinity. Are those going to continue?
Yeah, today we have 226 searchers, a pretty astronomical number. I think the overhead team at the search and rescue, they deployed out all 226 members within about an hour, and so that's a pretty big feat on its own. They've extensively been planning and prepping overnight so that when people get here we're ready to roll. The area has been walked, driven, flown, grid searched. They're getting into tighter grid searching to, at this point we're looking for small and anything evidence-wise, as opposed to cars, people, things of that nature, even phones. We're trying to make it even tighter. We had swimmers we announced the other day that actually did surface swimming, so we don't want to disturb the water even underneath, because that can cause its own problems. And divers have been deployed at this point as well to assist in the search, and it's been pretty thorough overall. But yeah, we continue to look for that item as well.
It was this morning, I was out by Prosser and there was a dive team from Alameda, but just a few feet to the side there were people recreating and people going by in a canoe. Are you not afraid about them disturbing any possible evidence that could be there?
Yeah, you balance this shut everybody out and we don't have evidence to say that there's something that we're going to locate, are you better off having more eyes in the area or not? There's times where we have shut down areas. We closed off the boat ramp at one point in time to cover like certain area and ground and things like that. So there's always a concern, but we also don't have like a, hey, this is the area. And so at what point do you cut off the entire Forest Service and things of that nature? So I think we've been reasonable with the areas, and times we've had to put in stop gaps to prevent people from moving around, but we do that based off of information. Divers, yes, today. I don't know if they have swimmers out today. Swimmers was a precaution so that we could ensure, to clarify, because there's so many levels to this. We had boats, we had side sonars, which allow you to see things, certain types of fish finders, which can go lower down into the water. But at that point, we still hadn't touched the ground or anything like that. So swimmers on the surface allowed to use masks and see things without murking up the water, just to cover if there's something you could see. Because once you touch the ground, you could potentially have all that earth come back up over any kind of evidentiary item. So divers were the last case scenario in the attempt, because for the most part, you could go in over and over and over again, but potentially you get one shot at it. And so trying to use a phased approach that makes the most sense and gets us to where we want to be.
Was sonar used in the lake at all in the search?
Yes.
A dive team was sent out this morning. Why today, and will you continue to send that team out in the future?
Sure.
Yeah, dog teams were sent out, but I believe they were also sent out on previous days as well. We're just exhausting any types of options, and there's various types of dogs, tracking dogs, evidence dogs, and unfortunately, in the needs of these things, we send out cadaver dogs as well to just cover all bases, because we're not putting anything off of the table. I didn't mention it earlier, but we have swimmers in the water literally looking for evidence and things like that on locations that we think might have something. And we're trying everything that we can. So there are human beings in the water swimming and coming back trying to provide intel based off of what they can see in the water as well. And so far still no clues that are ending up from those.
And so those divers and swimmers will continue in the next few days, to your knowledge?
Yeah, as long as we have a reason to believe that we're using that resource for the right way and with some purpose.
The body found inside an SUV submerged in a lake near Truckee is that of missing 16-year-old Kiely Rodni. The Nevada County coroner announced those results today. Divers found her vehicle on Sunday about 55 feet off the shore of Prosser Creek Reservoir.
No, we got this. Let her rest.